the Zynthian V5. Really cool instrument. I'm really excited about it. It's a really good option for anyone who plays solo sets but wants them to be, well-rounded, to have a beat and bass, right? Maybe rappers or loopers or, anyone who's used to performing alone. You could also use it as an instrument. If you plug a MIDI in, like I'm doing right now, you can use it as a synthesizer. You can also use it as a guitar pedal or an effects pedal. But yeah, I really like using it for the sequencer because you can make, a whole multi-layered track with just this box, which is really cool. By the way, a sequencer is essentially just a looper with some added functionality. I think synth people call it a sequencer to scare guitarists away. This tutorial, by the way, is very much beginner friendly. So if you're one of those people like me who can't figure out what the difference between a polysynth and a monosynth is, you're in good hands. I'm going to show you in very simple terms how to use this thing. When I got the Zynthian, I was actually pretty intimidated because it looks pretty complex. It plugs into a Raspberry Pi, which, I heard about Raspberry Pis through programmer people who use them to, make all these complex machines. So, when I heard that, I was terrified. But really, it's not hard to use. It seems like it has a learning curve if you want to get into the really complex stuff, but for simple stuff like what we're going to be doing today, it's really not hard to figure out. And people who don't have much of a background in synthesizers are going to be able to follow this tutorial pretty easily. Now, what we're going to be doing today is using the Zynthian to summon some otherworldly entities, some spirits from other dimensions. The first thing I'm going to summon with the Zynthian is a raver demon from the 5th circle of a warehouse party hell. Now, all interdimensional spirits, if they're going to show up to hear you play, they need a bass and a beat. By the way, in my experience, it's the same with most people. If you don't have a bass and a beat, people aren't going to dance. And if they're not going to dance, they're not going to have fun. And if they're not going to have fun, they're not going to show up. So, for this song, I'm going to add 3 tracks. One for the beat, and one for the bass, and one for the synthesizer. And now the thing is, if you go here to pad, this is the sequencer, right? You hit pad again on one of the patterns and it'll open the pattern window. Now these default to 4 beats per pattern. So what you're going to want to do is hit this option button at the top left and change it to 16 beats per pattern so that it's a little more fleshed out and doesn't just sound like a broken record. So I'm going to do that for the first 3 patterns so that the beat, the bass, and the synthesizer all have 16 beats. I'm also going to turn on the metronome because it's really hard to have a clean, loopable beat without a metronome. And then once the metronome is turned on, the minute I hit one of these loops, the metronome will automatically play. So yeah, like you can see, you can make this whole song with just 3 tracks and 1 loop in each track. The other cool thing about this is that you can save these. If you make some loops and you like them, you can save them and then take them out later and keep playing with them, or maybe add layers or take away layers. But yeah, you can save them right here. You just hit this ZS3 button on the upper right and save as a new snapshot. And I'm going to name this one Rave Demon. And then yeah, now it's there. So I can bring it back up whenever I want. Now, the thing about raver spirits, like all ravers, they are completely okay with repetition. The next spirit that we're going to summon is the Turkish belly dancer spirit. Now, the thing about the Turkish belly dancer spirit is they kind of like a little more variety in their music. They like the melody to kind of change up a little bit. So for this one, I'm going to add 3 tracks, just like last time. 1 drum, 1 bass, and 1 synth. But with the synth, I am going to do 2 different loops instead of just 1, so that the melody can change up a little bit, and that's more likely to summon a Turkish belly dancer spirit. Also, we're going to go to the pad and then hit pad again to go into the pattern, and hit option, change it to 16 beats in pattern, just like we did last time, just to make it longer. And we're going to do this for the first track of the beat and the first track of the bass, and we're going to do it for the first 2 tracks of the synth. So in the third track, we're going to make that adjustment to both the top 2 loops. And then, once we're done with that, let's go. Let's see if we can summon it. I'm going to start with the metronome again. There she is. So as you can see there, I was able to create 2 loops for the 3rd track, and so then I can have an alternating melody, and so that's what's cool about this. You can make some pretty complex stuff. So now that we know how to save the loops for this 3rd one, I'm not gonna make the loops live. I already have them prepared. So I go here to Z3, hit it twice, and I'm going to load Shadow Sound Specter. Now the Shadow Sound Specter comes from the darkest recesses of the dark ambient realms. So it's a pretty dangerous spirit, and especially if you don't like dark ambient, you probably don't want to mess with this thing, because if it overpowers you, you're going to get dragged to the dark ambient realms with it, and you'll have to listen to dark ambient for all eternity. So, you know, with me it's fine because I'm used to doing this kind of thing. So, you know, I know how much power to give it and when to, you know, stop playing the loops. But if you're a beginner, you know, maybe start with something simpler like the Rave Demon, because yeah, this Shadow Sound Specter can be pretty dangerous. The other thing about the Shadow Sound Specter is, you know, this comes from the dark ambient realms, so they like multi-layered music. So here, instead of just having you know, beat, bass, melody, I'm gonna have 5 layers. So beat, bass, melody, then some chords and some highlights. So you can see, to do that, you go, when you're in the pad, you go to options, the button at the top left, and you can see here grid size. You can make the grid bigger or smaller. So I'm gonna make it 5 by 5. So that way I can control all 5 tracks. And I have 5 different tracks, and I have 2 loops on each track. So yeah, let's summon this spirit, see how it goes.
Christian? No! I taught him not to summon the Shadow Sound Specter. Now he's gonna listen to dark ambient forever. Ah!